And welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. We are joined by Jim Chaney. He's from the Pro Football Hall of Fame Marathon. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's always fun. This is something new that's brought such new life and vigor to our community. Like we needed another big thing, but we didn't have a marathon yet, and you've really done it.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, for years and years, the Pro Football Hall of Fame and the Enshrinement Festival was really sort of the anchor for tourism in our area. Always in about a 10-day period in the summer. We came along, our first year was 2014, as an April event. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute, we can do these kinds of things more than just once during the year. So it's been a fun ride and success so far.
And how do you think this really helps the community capitalize on the fact that we do have this national museum basically here that people come from all over the country, and we tend to celebrate it once a year?
Yeah, it's really been interesting. So we're a running event, and we have people that come in from all around the country. So in 2017, for example, we had runners from 47 states and 12 countries.
Wow. And
in our industry of running, when I was a kid, the way that a school would raise money is they would have a bake sale. Mm-hmm. Now, the way a school raises money is they have a 5K.
Yes, they do.
So we've become the new the new bake sale, so to speak.
The new car wash.
Yeah, but what makes this event particularly interesting is that it's truly an experience. And so folks that have often thought of coming in to see the Pro Football Hall of Fame, sort of a double dip and participate in our race, as well as visiting the museum. Interestingly enough, like when I talk to my friends who aren't runners, they say, okay, well, it's a football race. It must be a bunch of 22-year-old guys, right? And I say, no, it's actually not true. Our demographics are 65% are women of our runners.
Wow.
Our average age is about 42 years old.
Really?
Yeah. So and again, we draw people from not only around the state of Ohio, but across the country. So the hall has been, I think, pleasantly surprised with bringing all these folks in to town. We are expecting just a hair over 10,000 runners this year.
10,000 runners. And how long do they stay in town when they come for something like this?
Well, that's an important point. Our event really starts on Friday and with a race expo. We do a 5K run walk on Saturday morning called the Draft Day 5K. And our race expo continues, and then the main event is Sunday morning. That's the marathon, the half, and the relay. So on average, depending on what the person's doing, they could be coming in Thursday night or Friday night. But we definitely host a lot of people coming into town.
And they all need to stay in hotels somewhere and eat food and see other sights while they're here. It just lifts all the boats, doesn't it? That rising tide.
It absolutely does. And when we started this race in 2014, we took the approach of a small business, say a small flower shop opening up on the corner. You want to do the small things well, mm-hmm. and make sure that your customers are happy before you start really expanding your business. So I always tell people we've only been open for 4 days because we've done it 4 times over the last 4 years. This will be our 5th day of business.
Almost a week.
Yeah, but this is really the year that we're trying to spread our wings a little bit. And so, for example, we'll be doing an economic impact study after the race to really see what kind of scientific effect or economic effect that we have on the industry and in our area. So, to your point, heads in beds, eating out, getting gas, all those things that go with what we try to do with the community.
Wow, yes. Is it a surprise to you and to the organizers how quickly this has grown? That sounds like a lot of people to me bringing in.
Yeah, a little bit. When we initially sat down with the hall, we laid out a 5-year forecast. It was important that the community, the mayor, the Pro Football Hall of Fame knew that we intended to be here for a long time. We've exceeded our numbers to date. The next 3 years, we really want to exceed our numbers, so we're hoping by 2020 we'll be around 17,000 participants. Our event is the weekend of the NFL draft.
How perfect.
So there's no coincidence behind that.
Okay.
We
Smart.
certainly want people to come into town to celebrate what might be happening here in Canton. And,
Yes.
and if it doesn't, it's part of the fabric of the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Well, I know that's a goal, isn't it, to have this be where the draft takes place?
It is. And again, from a running point of view, if we can bring in 17,000 participants to partake in all of the activities that our community has to offer, it's a built-in audience right away. And I have no shame in saying that it would be great if some of those people that are just coming in for the draft wanted to walk or jog or run our 5K event on Saturday morning. So it's really a win-win for everybody.
Well, that way you involve more people because not every one of us is going to be able to run a marathon, but a 5K is fun.
There's something for everyone, and whether you're walking 3 miles or you're running 26, and we have events between.
Big difference between those 2 points.
There is. But we have certainly the running aspect of it. The tagline that we like to use is run, cheer, volunteer. And it is something for everyone. We're a little bit different than, let's say, the parade that comes through downtown Canton in the sense that we are running down people's streets where they live. And we'd like this to be sort of the people's parade where if we're going into Southwest Canton, those folks that sort of laugh at those that are running can come outside and with a cowbell or an air horn or whatever, cheer for those people that are in from out of town and that are running in the event. So if you can't run, we'd love for you to come out and cheer. If you want to volunteer, it takes about 1,000 volunteers to make this thing happen.
Wow.
Everything from passing out the T-shirts at our race expo to handing out cups of water along the race course. So there's really something for everybody that we try to be as comprehensive as we can in getting the community some method of getting involved.
It's so much fun to be a water station.
It is. It's the water stations can be themes. I've run a lot of races around the country myself, and in our business, nothing is really new. So we sort of see, hey, what worked over here and what worked over there. I've gone through Wizard of Oz water stations. I've run past water stations where they're handing out bacon. It can be all kinds of crazy things. So it's a lot of fun, and it's kind of cool to see these people going by. Every shape, every size, every background that you can imagine participates in our race.
So someone listening might say, that would be really fun. How does a group get together and become a water station? Because I think you need them only on certain points along the way, yes?
Exactly. So everything centers around our website, which is HOF for Hall of Fame, so hofmarathon.com. People can look at all the volunteer opportunities there. And to your point, and specifically a water station, we really encourage groups of the PTA, church groups, businesses. It's very interesting. If we were to go out and ask 10 individuals to help out, and it's a cold morning or a raining morning, almost every one of those 10 would say, you know what? They're not going to miss me. I don't feel like going out. They're not going to miss me. Well, all 10 say that. Versus if it's a group, everyone thinks, oh boy, if I don't show up, I'm really going to hear about it later. So to your point, we really try to get groups. We get a lot of businesses, a lot of community groups that will band together and participate.
So one thing that's very important is that your group is on the route. So what is the route that they're going to be running this year?
Yeah, it's we are pretty exclusively inside of the city of Canton.
Okay.
We are starting at the Stark County Fairgrounds. The runners will basically leave there and head into Monument Park for just a short bit. Then they will head into downtown Canton. That takes them to about mile 3. Then they're going to head north up to Malone University, and we do a little loop around Malone. We return back down into downtown Canton, at which point the marathoners are going to split off, and the 5-person team relay will split off together and head towards Altman Hospital in the southwest part of Canton. The half marathoners will basically double back and head towards Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, which is where everyone finishes.
Okay.
So it's a mix of parks, it's a mix of downtown, and it's a real mix of all of our neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm. So if you think, hey, we're located near there, and you'd like to be a water station, is there a place at hofmarathon.com for people to sign up to volunteer?
There is. So literally when you go to our homepage, you're going to see a big button that says volunteer registration. And you can sign up for any of the water stations there. We do have course maps. So you can see, hey, I live in the Ridgewood neighborhood, or I live near Altman. Where exactly is the course going? Just as importantly, we want to make sure that we're being good neighbors. We know that many folks, go to the grocery store, methodically every Sunday, go to services, those kinds of things, and we don't want to impede on those. So we will go through all the neighborhoods notifying, hey, the runners are going to be on your street from this time to this time. If you're leaving, we suggest that you take this exit route out to one of the main streets. So we do a pretty comprehensive list of how to get around on marathon weekend.
Very important. And those are some of the really important doing the small things well logistics that make a community either embrace you or say, oh, no, it's marathon weekend again, right?
Well, you're 1,000% right, and there are a lot of logistics that go into it. This is a full-time, year-round job that we do, and my family sometimes thinks they don't know what I do, actually, and they say, well, you hand out T-shirts and cups of water, right? And I say, yeah, that's kind of what I do. But really, it's like planning a wedding for 10,000 people on one day.
Yeah. Incredible. That is exactly right. I'm wondering, not everybody's going to be able to hand out water, although it is a blast to hand out that water, that Gatorade, and but how important is it to just have the neighbors coming out and cheering on these runners? What does that do for morale?
Well, I think it's actually more important than handing out the water.
Interesting.
We have a short period of time to impress upon folks that are coming in, not only from California and Washington and Virginia and Texas, but from those that have never been to Canton, and they might live in Akron or Columbus or Cincinnati. And the more people that we have out on the course cheering, they really walk away with a sense of our community, of what Canton is all about. And conversely, we want, to give those folks that live in those neighborhoods a little sense of pride that, hey, we're coming down your street, and this, as I said earlier, this is really your parade. We would love for you to ham it up. What can we do to help you in doing that? And so it's our hope is that over time, this is really something that the community is proud of being a part of, that we're as inclusive as we can be.
Well, I love that. It's another reason to just be very proud of this community. Remind us of the date that this is taking place.
You bet. So it's the last weekend in April. So we start off on Friday, April 27th. That's our race expo. Mm-hmm. Saturday, April 28th is our 5K run walk, and the expo continues. And then Sunday is the main event. April 29th, 7 a.m. start.
7 a.m. And then when do they pretty much get done running these 26 miles?
So on Sunday specifically, if you're running a half marathon, you have 4 hours to complete that. That's a pretty brisk walk if you wanted to walk the whole thing. Marathon, you have 6 hours to complete the course, and that's definitely a jog to do that. So, but like I said, we have about 10,000 total runners, so a lot of people on the streets trying to get into the finish line before time's up.
I always think of that last person that, is sticking with it because it's on their bucket list, and God love them. They've worked on this, and they are going to run a marathon. And how late does the committee wait for that last person to cross the finish line?
Yeah, we say that we have a 6-hour limit, which is basically 1 p.m.
Okay.
But we've had people finish it too, and we've got tracking all along the course. We really know who's out there and sort of monitor what's happening, and we don't close the door. We wait for every last person.
And that person really gets cheered on quite a bit, I think, because you're really trying to help them across the finish line.
100%.
We need to take a short break, but we're visiting with Jim Chaney from the Pro Football Hall of Fame Marathon. We'll be back after these words. You're listening to Our Community.